So, who we are, what is Blackcell's mission? Well, Blackcell is a professional cybersecurity company providing end-to-end cybersecurity assurance within its Fusion Center, Security Operations Center, integration, offensive security compliance solution areas, as well cloud security and ICS OT security specializations. Our goal is not only advising to the best of our knowledge, but creating bespoke and resilient cybersecurity ecosystems. We really are passionate toward IT security, innovation solutions, and we are dedicated to protect information values. We do this or try to achieve our mission not just by letting our clients achieve long-term IT security stability, but also trying to enhance our social role to articulate the importance of cybersecurity as well. Our specializations include reducing IT/OT exposure, Industry 4.0 environments, also offering proper detection, prevention, services and solutions, response against all kinds of adversaries on-prem and in the cloud as well. Our employees hold certificates, not just to have the knowledge and the know-how, but have the situated certificates as well for these experiences and knowledge we have. There are vendor-specific certifications we have, as you can see, like, for example, Microsoft certifications, so was IBM, Splunk, OpSWAT, Snyk, you name it. And the employees also hold independent certifications like Certified Information Security Systems Security Professional, CISA, CISM, Offensive Security Certified Professional, Security Exploit Developer, Project Manager, ISO and IEC certifications, Certified Lead Auditors, ISO Certified Lead Auditors, and ITIL for Foundation Managing Professionals. Well, our history dates back to 2010 when the company was founded. In the first times, integration was the main focus, but soon we realized that there is way more into cybersecurity than just providing hardware and software solutions for defending. So in 2012, the Offensive Security Business Unit was founded, and we started all the ethical hacking related services. After dwelling into the red side of life, if one could say, in 2014, the blue side came into play as well. The Security Operations Center as a service and as a solution, now named Fusion Center. And in the meanwhile, a proprietary CTI development had started as well, finished by 2015. Around the GDPR era in 2018, our compliance business unit came to life, and they are the guys who can really help with all the compliance related issues, trainings, preparations, auditing, etc. In 2019, we focused on the ICS OT security specialization to provide all the business units knowledge and tailor it to ICS and OT fields. In 2020, our cloud security specializations started as well, based on Microsoft product, as we are a security partner for Microsoft as well. In 2022, the Fusion Center application was born, and here we are today. We'll see what the future will hold. As I mentioned, I'm the head of Offensive Security Business Unit. These are our services that we provide for our clients. Today, we're going to talk about social engineering, which is a slight but relevant part of the services we include or provide. But what social engineering is? We hear it almost every day, that the social engineer here, social engineer there. Um, Victims were tricked, fished, etc. What is the meaning of social engineering? As Kevin Mitnick's saying, social engineering is using manipulation, influence, and deception to get a person, a trusted insider within an organization, to comply with a request. And the request is usually to release information or to perform some sort of action item that benefits the attacker. So basically, someone who tries to hack the company or the victim, whether it be a person, via an employee or the person itself. So the art or the method of social engineering is hacking the person itself. There are some cases where it's called psychological manipulation, cyber intelligence operation, or if we are on the funny side, some engineers meddling in social things. So basically, an attacker seeks to gain access to the system and the information stored on them through the employees, if you are talking about the corporate environment. The two main vectors of attack are aimed at exploiting the basic human nature: helpfulness, empathy, and conflict avoidance. Social engineering usually measures the security maturity of workers and the physical protection, and only the intention. What distinguishes between social engineering assessment, an ethical hacking service, or an attack when they are trying to steal information, etc. The most common types of social engineering attacks are ransomware attacks, phishing attacks, spear phishing attacks, as a sub section of the phishing attacks, as well as SEO fraud or whaling, business email compromise, smishing, which is phishing via text messages, phishing, which is voice phishing, and baiting, when they are placing all kind of USB drives, other flash drives, etc. on site. Piggybacking, tailgating, retexting, quid pro quo, tech support scams, scareware, and watering hole attacks as well. Let's get into more detail here. The digital toolset of the social engineering, as you can see, ransomware attacks. It's usually malicious software that encrypt the victim's files, making them inaccessible until ransom is paid. We all know that. We know what ransomware attacks about. Phishing attacks are usually, as the saying, so a phishing attack occurs. That means that usually generic emails are sent to large numbers of people, tricking them into revealing sensitive information. This kind of attack relies on the mass number of the victims. Spear phishing is a more focused attack. Phishing scams tailored to specific individuals, business units, like, for example, billing fraud attacks, when the finance unit is targeted to wire funds to a different bank account, etc., often using personal information to appear more legitimate. The SEO fraud or whaling is about getting a high-ranking executives being impersonated to trick the employees into performing actions like transferring funds or providing access or initiating procedures that otherwise might not have been started. The business email compromise, the BEC, is similar to SEO fraud, but the attacker infiltrates the email account of the executive to making the requests more legitimate or seemingly more legitimate. So I will later on return to this section, but here you can see that social engineers are not just illusionists, let's just say, they are technical experts as well. Farming is a kind of attack when the victim is redirected to a fake site without the user's knowledge, This requires no activity from victim side. Smishing, as I mentioned earlier, is phishing via SMS. The attacker sends a text message prompting the recipient to reveal sensitive information, click a malicious link, etc. Like you have a parcel arriving and you can change the delivery date, or you have to pay some custom fines, or you can access your credit card details. Here is the code. Our employees won't ask for it. Handle it safe, etc. So these kind of attacks, most probably all of us have been already targeted by these. Phishing is voice phishing, where the attacker impersonates a trusted entity over a phone call. So basically, all these kind of attacks, if one could say, getting live and via voice communication. Baiting is when the attacker leaves a physical device, like I said, USB stick, any flash drives, even a rubber ducky, which is similar to a USB flash drive, but basically is an Arduino based small computer, if one could say, and it simulates the human interface devices features. So it's not recognized by the operating system as a USB storage device, but like a mouse or a keyboard or something like that. And the scripts running on these duckies are mimicking the keyboard operation and basically just feeding keyboard and key presses into the system. So basically typing the commands into your PC, and yeah, it's basically hard to defend against, because that means that no keyboard usage, no mouse usage is allowed if you strict that. Pretexting is when the attacker fabricates a believable scenario or a pretext to steal the victim's personal information. So this connects with the OSINT part, the open source information gathering, which means that they are crawling to clear, deep, and dark websites, gathering all the information they can get on the victim. And with that information, they are able to fabricate certain scenarios. Like, for example, here in Hungary, many attacks had occurred against elderly people, which means that they got a call that their grandson or granddaughter had a car accident or any accident, and they're gonna send someone to get a certain amount of money because he was the one responsible and she has to pay. And many elderly people have been tricked by these attacks. Fortunately, lately, these kind of networks have been shut down by the police of Hungary and international due to international cooperation as well. The quid pro quo tech support scams are can be similar. Can be familiar as well. The attacker offers a service or benefit in exchange for information or access. These kind of attacks, usually trying to have you install a remote desktop software like TeamViewer, etc. Basically, they are trying to help you. Scareware is a malware which is embedded in a free software. Then it is distributed to unsuspecting users. Basically, this means that the virus, if one can say, is in the free software, which is not a harmful application, but the embedded code or software is. The watering hole attacks refer to when the attacker infects websites that their target is known to visit. And the intent here is to compromise the target's device or devices. This is in correlation with the OSINT part as well. Basically, the first step in every attack, in every assessment, is to gather information on the target, systems, persons, etc., profiling them. And here comes the human toolset of social engineering. In this case, we have to take a look at the skills and abilities, soft and hard skills. There are things that you can learn, like, for example, reading body language or adjusting your body language to the certain scenario you are trying to through. Like, for example, you are an introvert, shy person trying to ask for help. You might behave not just via the main communication channel, speaking to someone or other expressions, but trying to adjust your body language as well. So these can be learned. There are some things that cannot be learned, like, for example, emanating trustworthiness, making people feel safe around you, radiating the peacefulness, the inner peacefulness that they might find comforting, and they feel that, okay, I can trust this person. These are usually kind of skills or abilities that are people born with. These can be enhanced to a level, of course, but the top-notch social engineers had this in their have this in their blood or in their genes, if one could say. It's very important to shine light on the influencing capabilities of such an attacker or such a professional. They are easily gaining empathy from the victims. Usually, one can play on the conflict evasion of a person, because many people has their nature more focused on evading a conflict than just to standing in and getting up the fight, if one could say, the verbal fight. It is quite a successful tool set or a tool in this set when the attacker communicates half-truths or false information. This usually plays the inner instinct of the victim to correct them, to provide information that I am the one who holds the knowledge and I gladly share the knowledge with you. So basically, these kind of half-truth communications are aiming for that. Like I'm saying that, oh yeah, I know you work at this company. We have talked about it before. Yeah, they are meddling in the food industry. Not in the food industry. We are just providing solutions to the food. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, you can imagine these kind of conversations are part of this type of attacks or influencing as well. It's really important to try to harness the helpfulness. Like, for example, if you are somehow having disadvantages, having a bandage or having to, even you don't have to mimic a wound or any injury. You just having two hot cup of coffee in your hands and trying to access the building, and you are asking for, could you please let me in? Yeah, sure. So, and the main thing here is that, as just as in phishing emails, these attackers try to play out the time pushing as well, to have you finish the help, the communication or anything they want you to operate. So they want you to finish your operation as soon as possible, because the quicker you have to act, the more likely you will lower your awareness of the situation. Basically, they are using many bases. The most important or the main bases are blackmailing, like using the gathered information to blackmail someone to provide more information or specific information or access or something like that. Ideology as well, like getting a common base with someone that you can imagine. It can be basically any topic you can imagine here. Financial benefit. Okay, if you provide this information, we might be able to pay you a handsome amount for this information or for letting us in, and the empathy as well, as I mentioned earlier. It is quite common to use 2 or more bases, because a single basis might fail and then you have no space to move around the conversation or in the operation as well. So yeah, basically the baiting can be mentioned here. As you can see, it was presented in the digital toolset as well, because it's okay that a digital solution is being used, but the delivery is made by the attacker itself, like, for example, leaving these physical devices loaded with malware in a place where the target will surely find it. Not too obvious places, but obvious enough for the victim to find it sooner or later. And of course, this can be delivered by post office as well. Many years ago was a top trend in Australia, where these kind of malicious USB drives were sent to the victims and delivered by the local post offices as a present or something like that. Tailgating is an operation when the attacker gains physical access to the restricted area by following someone who is authorized to get in, like the coffee example is perfect for that. Or when the door is almost closed and you are rushing in, wait, hold it for me. These kind of pressurize and quick actions, what can provide success in these attacks. Piggybacking is another kind of getting access into the building, but in this case, the attacker has already compromised an employee, let them in using their own access or providing it to the attacker, like, for example, landing a badge or something like that. So this, in this case, we have an insider in the operation. Dumpster diving is searching the office waste for items. It might find it might be funny, but if you think through, the office waste usually contains valuable piece of information like post-its, documents, shreds, even pen drives can be there, etc. And we can say that it's a human tool in this toolset, or part of the human toolset, reusing the phishing results, phishing, smishing, vishing, etc. Because the gathered information can be used to plan further attacks, converting them into any of the bases, like to blackmail someone, to get a common base with someone, or try to corrupt them any other ways. What is the purpose of such an attack? We know how it occurs, how they are doing it, but what is the purpose? Who, when, and why doing this? If you think through, most probably all of us have received phishing emails already in our life. Like, if you have ever received a suspicious email from what appears to be your boss, asking you to transfer money or provide access or something like that, click onto a link. or a voice memo telling that your car warranty is about to expire and you need to renew it, or your bank account had been suspended and you have to make some quick actions, reauthorize yourself, etc. Uh, all these are prime examples of social engineering, wherein a bad actor attempts to manipulate or deceive. No surprise. Uh, Regarding the who, unlike a technical hack, like for example an SQL injection, any kind of classical hacking you can imagine, usually these kind of attacks grants access to information that was not intended to be displayed. It's important to highlight that a social engineer is usually still a pro in cyber technology and coding. And now I'm referring back what I said earlier, that they are not just simply gifted people or illusionist, one could say, that can make believe, but they really are well versed in the technical side of these kind of attacks as well. They could slowly pack away at digital reinforcement and search for weaknesses to hack a company. Like if technical hacking is out of question, then comes the human hacking. Um, for major brands who invest heavily in cybersecurity, um, from an attacker's perspective, this is a tedious and fruitless endeavor. It's really is often easier to trick a person on the inside than to crack an airtight cybersecurity measure. So, but once the hacker is in, they know how to gather value. In any attacks, but in these kind of attacks as well, the most important thing is to get an initial foothold, to discover even the smallest opportunity to sneak past the gates, and from then the attack can be enhanced and spreaded. When these kind of attacks occur, general rule of thumb is the best time or the best thing to do is when the attack finds the victim in their weakest, when they're being the least aware. Like, for example, right before lunchtime, or close to end of business, or on a Friday when the moods are elevated, just like before holidays, the last work day before holiday starts, etc. You're trying to do all your stuff in advance, or trying to do everything, close everything, so after your holiday you can start fresh, etc. These kind of slots what are used, and like for example on a Friday just after lunch when everyone is well fed and they are halfway into the weekend as well, these attacks can really be a big hit when timed precisely. Why do these attacks occur? Basically, a cyber criminal's goal is often to convince the target to disclose private information, procure money, perform action that could in turn give the bad actor access to said info or funds or you name it. In the above mentioned examples, like for example, the boss impersonator's motive is clear: gaining cash, getting a nice sum via this attack. The latter one is to gain access to your private information, your name, your address, your social security number, all the valuable information we hold dear. But when you are in the moment, social engineers' motives are not always so obvious. I have mentioned before that it's really hard, especially if you are trying to suppress your awareness. And oftentimes they are multifaceted as well, like because the bad actor is often after more than one thing. So, okay, they get the cash, but if they can get more information valuable, uh, they can use these information to sell it, etc. We'll get that later on. Vast majority of social engineers, by the way, are after any piece of information, as I have said, because if any data access they can get their hands on, they know that the more leverage they have, the more to gain. And this is the vast majority. Of course, there are some specific attacks when they are trying to be as stealthy as possible and aiming for just a kind of user or management access or information, etc. This usually is for industrial espionage. Then that's a social engineering as well. So, okay, all these attacks occurred. They have gathered information, but what could they do with the acquired data? They can, for example, sell it to specified markets, on specified markets, like on the clear, deep, dark web, closed forums, Telegram channels, etc. Compromise the victim and as using it as a basis for blackmailing. That's what I mentioned earlier. They can use identity document data to commit a criminal offense and let the authorities being traced back to you as the one who committed the offense. Disclosure to the public to have PR reputational damage on a company or a specified person as well, like these vengeance operations when ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends are being attacked and all their sensitive informations like pictures, etc., are being disclosed. Those kind of attacks can be categorized here as well. Unauthorized entry, like by copying access card details and creating their very own pages. And last but not least, to use this information to prepare for further attacks, getting deeper into the system or deeper into someone's life and try to get more and more money, information, operation from them. Let's talk about some numbers here. Basically, if we take a look at malware and ransomware statistics, in 2022, there were 493 million ransomware attacks worldwide. 40% of these ransomware incidents involve the use of desktop sharing software like TeamViewer and AnyDesk, you name it. And 35% involve the use of emails. So basically, these are delivered via phishing attacks. 70% of the IT and security leaders back in 2022 saw ransomware as their top security concern. And this hasn't changed in 2023 as well so far. So basically, the numbers are elevating, but the situation stands. And for if you take a look, the most commonly compromised types of data are credentials, internal information, like company related information, personal information when they are targeting the person itself, and other like know-hows, other documents, etc. The healthcare and financial services and the information technology sectors are the most likely sectors to experience a ransomware attack, as per the FBI in 2023 as well. It's important to shed some light on that. As the AI has advanced to its current level, like using ChatGPT, etc., malicious GPTs or malicious AI solutions had emerged as well, like fraud GPT, Born GPT. And these kind of solutions had no restrictions on writing attacker codes or creating top-notch phishing emails, providing templates, etc. Also, phishing as a service had a leap like 30 to 40% in this year, which means that you buy the solution and the provider take care of the phishing emails and the phishing campaigns on the victim. So you just have to pay the money and sit back. In general, of course, the most targeted countries in 2022 for the phishing attacks were the United States on the first, Singapore, Germany, UK the fifth, Russia the sixth, China as eighth, and Hungary was presented in the top 10, which was quite a surprise. But yeah, we are experiencing from, let's say, 2021, quite a big leap in phishing and especially smishing and vishing attacks on the Hungarian citizens. These kind of ransomware breaches take an average of approximately 320 days to contain. 320 days, which is approximately 40 days longer than the average data breach to be contained. As per the AV Test Institute, 450,000 new pieces of malware are registered every day. So experts estimate that ransomware attack on businesses, I'm talking about businesses, occurs every 11 seconds in the wild. And we'll see how these numbers will rise. Okay, we talked about all the attacks, have checked all the trends, all through, but how can we defend against such attacks? Can we even defend against such attacks? I'm going to show you some best practices. How can you enhance your personal and your corporate awareness level as well? The first and foremost is to verify the message before you trust it. Verify the source, verify the content. If you get an email, verify the links, verify the domains. Look for typo squatting when they are exchanging letters in the domains. Like, for example, oldschool.co.uk, and they changed the S and C characters in the domain or something like that. Always hover over the mouse pointer or the cursor over the link in the email and see what the hyperlinking contains. You might have a display of a link in your email, which is perfectly fine, but the hyperlinked site is like a phishing site or could be a malicious one. Think before you share any information, whether it be social media, whether it be during interpersonal communication. Only use equipment and devices which you have checked and you trust. Like your very own devices should be checked every once in a while. There are AV solutions there, even for mobiles, Android, Apple. I always say that free softwares are not free neither. You just pay a different currency for being protected or for your protection. There are really some nice cost-effective solutions from bigger vendors to have your private environment protected as well. It worth the price. Always use a secure internet connection. Free Wi-Fi's, free hotspots, hotspots on trains, etc. They might be desirable, and we can say again that nothing is free. free internet, but you can never know whether are you taking being taken into to become a victim of an evil twin or rogue API attack. For example, rogue access point, and they are copying the access point and making you to connect to that access point as well. And from there, they can see all your communications, and in the worst case scenario, they can have access to your devices as well. Always use strong passwords, make them unique, keep them secret, of course. But if you had like 40 or plus accounts that you have to have unique passwords as well, it's really nice to have a password vault. The solutions are handy. You have to craft a master password, which should be really, really strong, quite unique, and of course, kept under 6 locks, but you have to remember only the master password, and well, vault software will handle all your logins from there. Take care of your property. Do not leave any of your electronic devices unattended, like you wouldn't leave your purse or other possessions unattended. Use legitimate software and keep everything up to date. Not just because it's illegal to have cracked copies of software, but usually due to being cracked, these softwares are not updated regularly. You might have to do it manually, and if you are not updating when a bigger vulnerability is found and they are patching it, you might risk and compromise your environment even more. And of course, you cannot know when it's from an illegitimate source that what kind of code snippets or malicious code is being written into the cracking or something like that. Take care of your media as you take care of your property. Decide what to share, what not to share, what can be used against you, against your loved ones. Avoid using USB drives if possible. There is a trend, mostly in the corporate environment and the sector, but sooner or later in our private lives as well, that avoids using USB drives and instead using a cloud solution if possible. Take trainings in awareness. Test yourself against phishing simulations. For example, Google has a phishing quiz which is accessible to everyone, and there are multiple solutions for this as well. In corporate environments, most probably there are regular awareness trainings, phishing assessments, etc. That's what we provide as well. From time to time, check for news trends in cybersecurity, not into the deepest, but just run through the headlines to get familiar with the current attack trends. Like, for example, if there is a bigger trend or a current trend on calling people and asking for fish names, just saying something totally irrelevant, then it might pop into your mind when you are being targeted by such an attack. Have a healthy level of distrust. Be as alert as possible, but of course, avoid becoming paranoid. And always ask. Ask and clarify the reasons of the request. Why are you being contacted via phone, via email? Try to think through what might happen if this is a malicious intent. And listen to your sixth sense, your gut instinct. Many victims later on told that they had a feeling that something was off, but either the social engineer was able to somehow cover this or pressure this off from them, or they had to act quickly and they just disregarded this alert system we have in our minds. And the general rule of thumb here as well is that it is better to apologize than begging for mercy. So basically, this covers a little quick insight on the social engineering. And if you have any questions, insights, I'm getting back into the chat here. I see no questions so far. So if you have any insights on the things we talked here or questions, I'm at your disposal. Turning my camera on, you can see that it's me I'm talking to you. So what do you think about these kind of attacks? Have you ever been a victim or have you ever faced some kind of social engineering type attacks? You know, social engineering is basically a part of our everyday life. Like when you are trying to get help from someone, from strangers, you know, like in the grocery store or something like that, we can say that might be a social engineering operation going on there because you are trying to make the person or get the person to help you, even if they weren't planning to do so or something like that. That's why there are no bad questions or wrong questions here. Yeah, legal obstacles to the implementation. Basically, this question arises when, like for example, a client is asking to have someone blackmailed. We usually don't initiate blackmailing during social engineering assessment because that's way outside of corporate legal compliance and legal coverage. Uh, from our perspective, we usually have a letter of out of jail letter or a letter of going free, which is usually signed by the CEO or IT director or someone who are well aware of such a assessment being carried on, because mm, usually only a handful of people are aware that this assessment is happening and how it should. And there are some urban legends that there were some social engineer colleagues who had been beaten already by the time the contact had been able to get in touch with the security to clear the situation. So we require these kind of help and papers as well. Hope that answered your question. Okay, if we have no other questions, then it was a pleasure to have you here. I hope you have been able to get some insight or interesting info on these kind of attacks and assessments. And if you have any questions, we are at your disposal. Please get in touch with us. Check out our website, get in touch via email with me as well if you have any questions or so. Also, please be noted that we're going to have a workshop on the 26th of October, which is a personal meetup in social engineering assessments and attacks on a corporate environment. In a corporate environment, how to defend, what kind of solutions we might offer, how our social engineering assessments are done step by step, use cases, etc. But also be advised that it will be in Hungarian as well. So the language of the workshop will be Hungarian. Okay. So far, so good.